how do we owe rent? Like, the rent was paid. The rent should have been paid every month. So I'm confused as to, like, what's going on. Like, why are we being evicted? Like, because that's basically what it was. Like, he handed me a notice, and basically the notice said, like, we're being evicted. Everybody in the household is being evicted. And I was like asking my mom, like, did you get any notices before this or this and the third? And she did, and obviously she didn't take it serious enough. If she would have told us, we would have all probably like got up the money to, figure it out and stuff. But she never told us anything. I guess she figured she could handle it, or her boyfriend could handle it.
In the bag, I cover my ears. I hop in the lamb. I'm switching the gears.
Hey guys, so I wanted to do a short story time for you guys. So I wanted to share a real personal story with you guys. It had me really thinking, because literally, like, it's the holiday season and a lot of people don't have family. A lot of people don't have other people, like close friends or family, to celebrate with. Some people don't even have a roof over their head and things of that nature. So I just been thinking a lot, and usually around this time I think about my personal experience dealing with this a lot. So basically I just wanted to share with you guys the time that me and my family was actually evicted. We were living in a project apartment in Brooklyn and NYCHA. If you know, you know. And at first it was me, my two sisters, and my mom living there. And then eventually my mom moved in a guy who she had dated when she was in high school. And they had, I guess, linked back up or whatever. He came from the army and he started staying there. So she never actually asked us, like, us being 3 girls living in an apartment with you. I feel like she should have, like, sat down and had a talk with us about a guy moving in. We were so used to, we got used to just it being us 4 girls or whatever. So a guy moving in was kind of weird. And he, like, bought us and used to buy us, like, Spice Girls stickers and stuff like that. So it was just weird. But we was young, so of course we fell for it. I think I was like maybe 9. So that me and my sisters were a year and a half behind me. Ari was a year and a half behind me, and then Tati was a year and a half behind Ari. So we were young, and when you're that age, you fall for anything. So he basically bought us. He moved in, started living there. Mind you, in NYCHA, you're not supposed to move in anybody, and if you do get married or whatever the case is, or move anybody in, you're supposed to put them on a lease, or you're supposed to go through management to get their acceptance, because automatically, once there's another adult, they automatically think there's another income, and they want, that person on paperwork so they could, up your rent or whatever. So he was basically staying there illegally. And as time moved on or whatever, it was just like whatever. Like, we had our little run-ins with him and things like that. Issues that families go through and BS. If you want to hear about some story times, because I got a lot of story times, but if you want to hear about story times about him, you gotta comment down below. You gotta make sure you subscribe, 1. You gotta follow me on Instagram, 2. Comment under this video, 3. And yeah, comment we want more, because I have plenty of story times about him, like plenty, and I'll do a whole series if I get enough likes and comments and stuff. But anyway, yeah, so as time went by, I remember I just found out, like, okay, so me and my sisters, we were all working at the time, and we had like a cousin that was staying there temporarily. He was working as well, so we was all giving my mother money. So that's me, Tati, Ari, and this cousin. So we were all 4 giving my mom money towards rent or whatever, or towards whatever we needed. And I believe my mom was working at the time too, and so was the guy. So that's 6 incomes, right? So even if me and my sisters had like minimum wage jobs, it was still something. Like, some people would give my mom a little extra. Some people would just give her exactly what she asked for every week, every time we got paid, whatever the case was. So, everybody was basically giving her the money that she needed to cover rent. Everything was fine. Everybody was going to work. Everybody was working. Everybody was fine. Whatever. Boom. So I find out that I'm pregnant or whatever. So me and my son's dad were like saving or whatever like that. We putting money away like every week, and we like had this little jar or whatever. I had a jar, and I would like collect money from him. I would put my money in, and every week we would just put mad money in whatever, saving for Kimani, my son, and you know, probably hopefully looking to move out, because obviously bringing a baby into a new apartment like with a bunch of adults that live there, it's not really comfortable. So I eventually knew that I was gonna move out soon or whatever. I wasn't really worried. I wasn't stressed because I was making good money. I was in a restaurant business at that time, and I was making good money, like I said. So then one day I'm sleeping at the house. I think I was off that day. I'm sleeping at the house, and I heard like a bang on the door, and it was like a real loud bang, like the feds was at the door or something. So I remember my mom went to the door, and then my mom came and knocked on my room door. I think it was just me and one of my sisters that was in the room asleep. And she came and knocked on my room door, and she was like crying, like on the verge of crying. She was like, "Do any of you guys have money to give, because they're here to kick us out?" So I'm like mad confused, like, why would they be here to kick us out? Like, what? Like, don't you need eviction notices? Like, isn't there a whole process? So immediately I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, she woke me out my sleep. So she's like, yeah, they're here to kick us out. Do y'all have any money or whatever? I owe this and that. I don't know how much she owed. I don't really remember. I think it was like a few thousand. So I gave her like all the money that was in my little jar that me and my son's father had been saving up for. I gave her all that money, and I told her, like, you know, I would try to make a few phone calls or whatever to see, you know, what money I could get. And I remember my son's father was on a job interview at that time, and I like called him and I was like, hey, and I was like trying to tell him what was going on, like a quick recap of what was going on, whatever, so he could try to help. So, you know, he said, yeah, of course he'll help, like he'll try to figure it out, whatever. He was gonna call me back. So my mom went to it was basically the marshals that was at the door. My mom went to the door and tried to give them money or whatever, and they was just like, no, like, it's too late. Like, we can't take your money. Like, you have to deal with that with the management office. We're just here to get you out type shit. So, like, we literally, like, my mom came back to the room, and she was like, oh, just pack a bag, and we gotta go. So I'm like, this can't be real life. Like, y'all dead ass. So they come in, and they like, come on, guys, let's go. Like, everybody out. Like, dead ass serious. Like, I never experienced nothing like this in my life. And at that time, I'm like 21, whatever. And I'm just like mad confused. So she's like, oh, just pack a quick bag and we'll come back and get whatever else we need, whatever. So I'm like, okay. So I packed a little bag, whatever, and we left the apartment. We went downstairs. So now we like making phone calls, calling people, like calling out my other sister, you know, calling people that live in the house, basically, like telling them what's going on. They can't come back or try to get off of work to come and get some stuff, whatever the case is. So literally, like, we standing in front of the building, and people these people are like went upstairs into our apartment and started like moving our stuff out, like our furniture, everything. So I'm like, wait, what is going on? Like, they said pack a small bag. Like, wait, what? So I asked the guy, like, you know, where are you taking our stuff or whatever? And he was like, oh, we're taking it to a storage. If you want, you could talk to management or talk to, you know, NYCHA management or whatever to find out which storage it's going to, or what you have to do to get it out of storage or whatever. And I'm like, what? I was just so confused. And then I started thinking, and I'm like, kind of like upset with my mom, because I'm like, how do we owe rent? Like, the rent was paid. The rent should have been paid every month. So I'm confused as to, you know, like, what's going on? Like, why are we being evicted? Like, because that's basically what it was. Like, he handed me a notice, and basically the notice said, like, we're being evicted. Everybody in the household is being evicted. And I was like asking my mom, like, did you get any notices before this or this and the third? And she did, and obviously she didn't take it serious enough. If she would have told us, we would have all probably like got up the money to, you know, figure it out and stuff. But she never told us anything. I guess she figured she could handle it, or her boyfriend could handle it. I don't know what was going on, but basically, like, we had to go. So, it was just a real stressful pregnancy, honestly. I was 4 months pregnant at the time. So then my son's dad, he finally came to the house, whatever, and he came with like money, like a few $1,000s, whatever, and he was trying to give it. Well, I told him like it was like too late or whatever. He definitely came through that time, and basically I just told him like it was too late. Thank you so much, I appreciate it, but it's too late. Like, if she would have been said something, we could have saved it. We could have saved the apartment, whatever. But it was obviously too late. So actually, I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna make a part 2 to this story, and the part 2 is gonna involve and talk about where everybody went and how everybody had to separate and go their own separate ways, and how long ago this was. And it's gonna be a lot of details, but I'm gonna sum it all up in part 2. So stay tuned tomorrow for part 2 for Vlogmas day 22. Yeah, 22. And let me know if y'all powers kicked in yet. Like, let me know in the comment section below if y'all powers kicked in December 21st. Vlogmas December 21st. Let me know if y'all powers kicked in yet, because mine still ain't kicking. I'm still waiting. Nah, but anyway, I'm gonna catch y'all later.